Hello. This is a Pup In The Life, and this episode is one of probably the most important episodes that you're gonna ever get from a Pup In The Life. No, I'm kidding, but one of the most important episodes up to now. This goes for sure. I am Vergola, and you are listening to the one and only podcast about startups, founders' life, entrepreneurial life, hosted by a dog. That dog happens to be me. So, in today's podcast, if you haven't done so, go check the last episode before listening to this. It's episode 155, which is basically about what are you willing to give up. And that is a question that is so freaking important. I cannot stress this enough. Okay, I saw a cat and I'm going crazy. No, Vergola. No. It's full of cats where we live. The question is paramount because if you have no idea what you're willing to give up, and maybe just even write it down, even like if it's like an aperitivo with friends or, a Sunday outside or whatever, you really don't know what your boundaries are. And if you don't know what your boundaries are, you probably haven't got clear what you want to have got inside of those boundaries, which ultimately ends up being called your objectives and the things that you actually want. So, in today's podcast, we are going to talk about the second part of that episode, which is defining and redefining success. And by the way, thank you so much for being with us and giving us 5 stars. There were 2 5 stars in the episode, in the podcast. Now we have 3. Road to 10, 5 stars. Hopefully we're going to get there as soon as we can. So if you're listening, because I know many of you listen but haven't given us the stars, please do, because sometime a hater will pop up, give us 1 star, and our ranking will be totally fucked. But anyway, let's discuss about this topic of success. Mom was recently speaking with a friend, with Federico, whom I say hi to. He wasn't a listener of A Pup In The Life, so hopefully he's going to listen to this episode and discover all the things that we say here. And Mom was sharing her experience, and I was there too. And at some point, he asked something on the lines of, what's the thing that most makes you playful? The thing that you find the most intriguing, the most fun to do? He was probably asking, like, what are you actually enjoying in what you do, no? Bear in mind that we know each other, well, they've known each other for actually 10 years now, probably, almost, so like a long time. And, the relationship has always been very interesting in the terms of talking and speaking about innovation. You wrote the preface of Mom's book about incubators and corporate venture projects. And also Mom was a professor at his school teaching entrepreneurship, which is something that now is in demand, and people are asking Mom to go teach. But once she started it, it was so very weird to do so, and he was the only one living that. So he and his team, to be honest. So it was good. And so they were having this conversation, which happened also with another person, Antonella, who's actually a newcomer in Mom's life. They didn't know each other before a call on Friday. And just to be sure, we're going to share this episode with both of them, so they know that we use their inspiration. And Mom was answering to this Federico guy, and she was explaining what she found fun. And sometimes, like, startup life is not that fun at all. But the thing is that the worst moments is the moments in which you ask yourself, but okay, what would happen if all of this just busted out at some point? It would destroy itself. It would just implode or explode or whatever. It was not just workoutable anymore. for the situation in which it is. In some, how about mom fails in what she's trying to do with this company? And so she asks herself, and she asks herself usually, and she asks herself, and she shared this with Federico, and she's like, in the end, do you think that if the project fails, mom would be out of a job for long? How would it feel to have mom posting on LinkedIn, oh, hey, I'm looking for a job, and which, by the way, might happen tomorrow or in 10 years, we don't know, but it might happen. What would happen? And he said, maybe people thought you were pranking them, no? But at some point, somebody could get interested and give mom some opportunities, or mom could find some opportunities. And in the end, once you have set out everything that you need to live, you don't need 100K to live. You don't need €1,000,000 to live. You don't need 1 billion to be living and thriving. I'm not stating the amount that I talked to Federico with mom, because it's not the right amount, but it's like kind of a low amount, if you think, to live on a yearly basis. But that gives you at least a decent way of living. Now it depends on if you have a partner, if you have a dog, like mom has, if you have kids or whatever. But at the very end, everything is just a matter of how much else. And that's where we go to the situation that mom was talking with this Antonella person running a Spanish agency in Italy for them, basically opening up Italian headquarters. And she said, I have the freedom to be picking projects, because right now I don't want to work with everything for everyone anymore. And I'm like, yeah, it's like, if you can money-wise. And that was just provoking, because then she reacted exactly the way that mom predicted, which was explaining that no, it's not about the money. It's about all the energy that gets into, and all the good opportunities that are maybe good opportunities, but maybe not your good opportunity, and then cannot make a difference for you at that point in that time. It's about the things that you accept. And again, yet again, the boundaries. It's about the boundaries that you have set for yourself. It's about that. And in the end, when you start thinking about it, mom really connected with the things that she shared with Federico, which was like, you know what? I changed, she said, my way of thinking about wealth. And we had this eureka moment while we were walking back home in a Saturday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday. I don't remember which day it was, but it was evening because it was dark, and it was like a couple of days ago, where mom literally realized, just like divine intervention, with that basically, is there much more that she's wanting from this life? I'm sure there is. But is there so much more that she needs to feel safe? Well, probably not. And the thing is that when you discover it, you discover that you're covered no matter what. That you are aiming up, 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 up. And then you can be thrown back down. But in the end, you're not landing on the same spot. You're still landing on somewhere higher than when you started. And it's very hard to transmit this concept for people who are very risk averse or have not a good self-awareness type of journey, internal journey. But it's exactly the way it is. And I'm claiming this with all the sincerity and honesty, and without giving it glamour, because it's not glamour, that I can, because it's the truth. And in the end, money is freedom. But there's not an amount of money that is fixed to change your life. Because, well, this is also for microeconomics type of reasoning, which is not so easy to make in a podcast, but it's marginality of things. If I'm thirsty and I drink a glass of water now, my satisfaction is going to be a 10 out of 10. If I drink a further glass of water, my satisfaction would go down to 9 on 10. If I then drink a further glass of water, I might go to 6.5. And at some point, it's going to go down below 0 because, to be honest, I don't need to drink water anymore because I'm not thirsty anymore. And so for the same reason, it's like if you look back and think, do I need an extra 1K, 10K, 100K, million a month? Even at the highest levels, do you think that having 10 million in a bank or having 100 million in the bank does bring the same incremental marginality in joy, in freedom, which we're calling freedom, than having 100K and a million, or 10K and 100K, or 1K and 10K? Trust me, because you know. I'm a dog who does math, but you already know. It changes quite a lot. The more money you put in, the more inputs you put in, the more times you repeat that action. And so thinking about this, making an assessment around you, your life, your goals, your desires, the way you feel. If you take out everything that you hear from the outside, oh, you need to get to this, to that, and compare yourself to people, where exactly do you land? Where? Where do you land? Ciao. You will land somewhere that tells you that you need something more on some angles, but on the other hand, you feel, well, if you take into account everything that you need, which shelter, food, family, trips, stupid stuff that you want to buy, hobbies, investments, whatever. I mean, yes, if you had $1 million more, you can invest it. Do you know why you can invest it? Because 1, you can afford to lose it, and 2, you can afford to not having to use it because you already are in a situation where you have your life covered up. And so just to end up this podcast, which is probably part 2 of the What Are You Willing to Give Up podcast, very long series of podcasts lately. Sorry, we hope you like them. The thing is that all things being equal, money means freedom. And the freedom is not the number that you set up for yourself. It's the number at which you can avoid. Scott Galloway talks about this quite a lot, and I just understood this in this couple of days with these 2 conversations. It's about how much you don't need anymore. You have your expenses covered. You can, go to the restaurant without looking at your bank account. You can, of course, not Michelin star restaurant all the time, but you get what I'm saying. You can, support the charity that you like for a fixed amount of money that you don't need. And you can maybe pick another one if you like. You can do unexpected gift to your partner and to your colleagues and to your people, and without feeling, oh my God, will I make this? Will I make it this month? You can buy things that are extra, but in the end, it's not in the extra that you change your life. Because as somebody on the Prof G Pod said, I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was, but a pretty intriguing, it was Mo something. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name. One of the latest podcasts, he says, I see many people with 8 Ferraris, but there's just one single Ferrari that you can use at once, that you can drive at once. And so with this in mind, you will definitely see that all money does is give you freedom. And all the extra, it is not freedom. It's not the freedom of the choosing the Ferrari that I want today. It's the freedom of not having to worry for what's important in life, your health, your people, the shelter, and you in the end. So we decided to call this podcast Redefinition of Success because in the end, that's what we need. It's not a magical amount of money. It's not a defined position, which unfortunately for many still is quite important position at work. I mean, it's not anything of that. It simply is understanding where your freedom lays. And again, let's go back to what we said before. If you have no idea where you stand, where your freedom and obstacles and boundaries are, you will never know. You will never, ever know. So start with that, and then let us know how it goes. And trust me, you will be surprised that just like all other, Buddhism and spiritualism, like things that might just sound very far from you, all say the same thing. That at some point we do have everything inside of us. And it's because we already know what we need. And if you start thinking about it, the what you need and what you want are two very different things. But you can get to what you need, you then can get to what you want. But for all the rest, that's not necessary and it's just a luxurious item. There are 3 different levels. And moreover, you don't need them. That's totally different. And this doesn't, go against the, it goes towards the scarcity mindset. It's the abundance mindset. The abundance mindset starts because you already have all of that. Now, I hope this was inspiring for you as it was inspiring for us. And we'll chat tomorrow. And for now, sending you lots of kisses, hugs, success, and a bit of barks. Bye!